We're back once again, folks, for another erotic episode of A Grip from the 80s. It's another haul video. And people seem to like these haul videos. I like watching haul videos. I like seeing all the goodies that people have recently acquired, picked up, gifted, what have you. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one, and it's unfortunate for wallets, but it's a good one for goodies, if you will. Tell me if you've heard this one, but a lot of collectors of physical media, toys, memorabilia, what have you, use the dreaded pre-order, to lock yourself into place so that you get your special copy of whatever it is, or you're guaranteed to get that. Amazon is pretty terrible nowadays at that. You never get it when you're supposed to. They always take it off of your list, regardless if it's pre-ordered or now they'll, my brain always thinks that a pre-order is you're pre-ordering this item, so you're guaranteed to have that item, and it can't sell out because you've pre-ordered a copy of that. Well, Amazon doesn't believe that. So the pre-order is essentially garbage on Amazon. But people still do it for some reason. They'll mysteriously be sold out regardless of you having it pre-ordered. And then they'll say, oh, well, it's going to come like a week later, 2 weeks later, or now it's a month later, whatever. It's Amazon sucks. And you barely ever get it 2 days shipping. So, but enough of that. Not just Amazon, but other places you pre-order things. And my wife and I, we pre-order a lot of things, regardless, on my side of things, regardless if I have the money or not. Most of the time, I won't pre-order anything if I have to pay for it right up front, because I'm always broke. But my sort of ideal pre-ordering is, hey, I'll pre-order it, lock it in place, and then maybe by the time it's supposed to ship and they charge you, I'll have some money. So that's how that works for me. My wife just willy-nilly pre-orders things. But something that happens in pre-ordering, and let me know if you guys are like this as well, but we forget. My wife and I forget what we have pre-ordered. And then a lot of the times, on the credit card, somebody will say, hey, what's this charge for? We're pretty terrible about that. And then sometimes things come in the mail and we're like, what is this? And we're like, oh yeah, we pre-ordered this, 6 months ago or whatever. And that is a lot of this, what I'm about to show you. It's a lot of like, this stuff came in. Wow, okay, My wife does it a lot for surprises. She'll just willy-nilly and randomly like get stuff. And she doesn't tell me about it. And she's like, oh yeah, I pre-ordered you this. I knew you would want this. And it's amazing. And she's the best. And I love her. And so much. So that type of stuff happens. And some of that is what I'm going to show you today. So we'll start off with all the ridiculous the Amazon silliness that one pre-orders and then they fuck up, but eventually you get it. Actually, this is a gift. Well, it's a trade. My buddy Chad Ecto, Chad 2 Red, we trade stuff. And so I got myself the Darkman 4K from Scream Factory. Because I like the movie that much, folks. Yes, I want it on 4K. This is cool. So in the early 90s, there were two mail-away catalogs that I got all the time. That was sort of on their mailing list, thanks to Fangoria magazine. And one was Catalog of Carnage, and the other Blackest Heart Media. And so I would order a bunch of VHS from these catalogs that were offering like import uncut versions of a whole bunch of movies that either I had seen, but I want to see the uncut version, or I had never seen, and they were offering from, boots of like foreign laser discs or foreign releases or what have you. There was no DVD yet. This was all still VHS. And so I would order a lot of this stuff, import VHS. And two of those movies were The Heroic Trio and The Executioners. I love these movies. These are ridiculous, silly, over-the-top Hong Kong action films, Hong Kong superhero action films, starring Michelle Yeoh, Maggie Cheung. And they're just, they're awesome. Johnny To is the director, but they're, Hong Kong action, wire-fu superhero films. Ridiculous. So over the top and silly, but so much fun. I fell in love with them. So much so that like the music would get stuck in my head. I would watch them over and over again. I showed, any of this stuff I would show all my friends, the original members of Low Budget Pictures and all that stuff. We just ate this stuff up, It's how I also got, for the first time, Meet the Feebles and Brain Dead, before... Well, Meet the Feebles hasn't really had an official release here, but before it was Dead Alive here, Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. So I had that VHS uncut import release before we got Dead Alive, which was magic, because I was like obsessed with Peter Jackson after Bad Taste. 1989, I rented Bad Taste and Toxic Avenger back to back, and it changed my life as far as the trajectory of me making comedy horror films. But yeah, so these are great films, and Criterion, sometime last year, they had said that they were doing a 4K restoration, and I had hoped that it was for disc and not just for their Criterion channel, and it was both. And sure enough, as soon as this went up for pre-order, I had to nab it. Great. And I watched The Heroic Trio, and it looks amazing. It looks amazing. Back then I had never seen the movies other than on VHS, and then I did have. There was a kind of a crunky release on DVD that I did own for a while, but the quality just wasn't up to par for a DVD, so I tossed it eventually. But I'm glad I had it. It's amazing. Both of them are great, and they were released in the same year. It's got a Breakin' 2 attitude, if you know what I mean. Okay, so these are controversial because there's a lot of like elitist snobs out there who think they know quality and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other thing. Whatever, I don't fucking care. Like, these are movies that I love, and I'm glad that they're on 4K I don't care about The Abyss. I've never liked The Abyss. That's a James Cameron movie that, like that and Titanic, like, I don't fucking care. They're, no thanks. But, these and the Terminators and all that stuff, this is where it's at. Never even bothered owning a DVD of True Lies because I had seen like the DVD from somebody, when the DVDs were out and this came out. And I love the movie, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. And at the time there was no, we didn't know Blu-ray was on the horizon, so that wasn't even a thought. But Blu-ray, this did not come out officially, other than like maybe some shitty foreign release that it was floating around, and I don't even know if that was official. Doesn't matter. I was holding out for True Lies, and here we go, and he offers it, and same with Aliens. And so people are gonna bitch and complain about what they did or what they didn't do, and again, they're not gonna 100% know because they weren't in the room, they weren't there. And they're not James Cameron. And I just go by what James Cameron, wants to do with his films. I did not get Terminator 2 in 4K, primarily because I feel like I always was like, you know what, down the road, the way that these companies deal with these physical releases is there's always going to be another one somewhere down the road. There's always going to be a different version with different things on it. So with Terminator 2, I never even bothered with the 4K, and I certainly know all of the turmoil surrounding that release. I just, that wasn't the case for me. It was, there's going to be another release like they did with the DVDs. So I'm not chomping at the bit. There'll be a 4K version out there that I'll get one day, and sure enough, there's going to be an updated, better 4K version of Terminator 2 and Terminator for the first time, which I'm excited about. But as far as I'm concerned, these look fucking phenomenal, and they sound phenomenal. We have an 86-inch 4K setup in our living room, and we have a 128-inch screen and 4K projector with Dolby Atmos down in the theater room. I can check them out quality-wise on both things, and as far as I'm concerned, these look outstanding. There is grain, folks. They did not DNR this stuff. It's not a Predator. When they fucked up the Predator so much, when Fox fucked up the Predator and turned it all to wax, and all the characters looked waxy and cartoony and whatnot. And then they did a proper 4K release, a proper one, and now Predator looks great on 4K. You can see grain. There is grain in these releases. The colors are outstanding. The detail is outstanding. And the audio on both of these is like great. So I don't know. I'm happy. People are gonna complain about anything, whatever. I'm just happy that they're there and I have them, and all that good stuff. This was a pickup. So that Hasbro / Kenner are re-releasing a lot of their old toys, reproductions. It started with the Star Wars line and Ghostbusters, real Ghostbusters. So I was a fan of real Ghostbusters. I got those toys. I played with those toys. There was a point where I definitely stopped because and this was the same with a lot of the toy lines and franchises that I loved, is that they just sort of kept putting out toys with gimmicks, and after a while I just didn't give a shit about the gimmicks. It was just like a little too much. It was overdoing it, and maybe the line was getting stale for me, so I just stopped. But with the Fright Features, you know, I told you about I was getting the Fright Features. You know, they were early in the line, and I actually enjoyed playing with these versions. It's the stuff after this that gets a little and I stopped when I was a kid, and I definitely don't want in my collection to this day. And frankly, I'm usually a let 'em breathe type of collector as far as toys are concerned. It just depends. These guys, I am not opening. And that's just because, like, the Fright Features are sort of a dime a dozen as far as being able to get them. They're in, like, $5 bins, loose. It's all over the place. And in fact, like, the Fright Features that I had, I would still have them if it weren't for my son River when he was little, like, destroying them, because I stupidly let him play with a lot of my old stuff. So these Fright Features I am going to leave in, just because the packaging is so nostalgic for me. I've always loved the real Ghostbusters packaging, so I'm gonna get these 4 and leave them in, hang them up, display them. But they've been hard to track down. They are unfortunately exclusives at the moment, so you can only find them in Targets. And you've got the nostalgia taxers who are running to pick up all of these as fast as they can, and then charge you 5 to 10 times more than what they're worth. So they've been hard to track down. But the other day I did find Egon, so I'm gonna leave him in there. I just got to get Ray and Winston, and there you go. Put those up. But yeah, I mean, like, aesthetic wise, this is 85-90% accurate to what we grew up with. And when this line came out, the line came out, I was 9-10 years old. I was getting all this stuff. It's magical. Everybody who grew up with these, who are our age, born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, and you had the fucking Egon, and you knew that the tie was gonna get destroyed. It's very rare that you find an Egon with his tie intact, loose. So yeah, I'll find those other 2 hopefully, and call it a day with those. This is really cool. Again, this is one of the toy lines that I loved growing up. I have some of my originals, and then I have the Super 7 stuff. But this is the Thundercats toy guide. That is brand new. This was a pre-order. Sean McKeon is the creator of this book. I love toy guides. I have quite a few of them to properties that I loved and still love to this day. This was great. This was a, no-brainer, a must get. The only thing I don't like about this thing is the cover. That's it. But that's like, I think the cover is aesthetically non-pleasing. I don't think it's very creative. I don't like this. It's just a very odd and bland choice for a cover of a toy guide. However, that doesn't matter. It's the content that's the magic, and the content is pretty awesome. And there's so much stuff in this of Thundercats ephemera that I have never even seen, never even heard of. And it's exciting to see that stuff. I am not a deep diver when it comes to collecting collecting 80s toys. I primarily go after what I had, you know, or if there was something that I didn't get, I want it now as an adult. I don't do like full collections. Like I don't do the full line. That's you know, some of them there was only 12 figures to the line, so it's very easy to get, and I had them as a kid anyway, so that stuff is easy. But like you try to deep dive, that's not for me. I can't do that. I'm poor. I don't have the time or resources. I don't have the space, and it's just something that doesn't, if it didn't really if it wasn't something that I was privy to, or if I wasn't playing with it or grew up with it, I don't care as much. So I don't need to do that, Others are compelled. It's a sickness, which is fine. Everybody collects the way they collect, and more power to you. I won't be tracking down some of this stuff just because it was made and because it's Thundercats. Like I won't be doing that. But it's all awesome and it's all fascinating stuff. And I love these types of behind the scenes deep dives. And, as a toy lover, 80s toy lover, it's just amazing to see all the product that was made that you either didn't get or you didn't know about, and it never made to shelves. So grab it. You can go to Thundercats Toy Guide on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, or thundercatstoyguide.com. Rocket. But it's pretty awesome so far, and very pleased with it. They did a great job. So this is the stuff that, my wife was like, oh yeah, I know you want these, and these were pre-orders, and they finally came in. And so this box came in the other day, and I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. So I am, I showed you these guys from the Mattel Masters of the Universe cartoon line. So they're doing the Origins style filmation, as you can see here. These guys I've showed off before, and I think they're amazing. I think that Mattel's Origins line is just wonderful. Up there with the Super 7 Thundercats line for me. Like, these are modern toys that are doing it right, as far as I'm concerned. And I support it wholeheartedly. I have loved the Origins line. And when they said they were going to do the Filmation Origins, I was stoked. I do have the Super 7 Filmation in the style of the original He-Man toys. I do have those. They're hanging up. Those will stay there. I won't be opening them, but I am going to be opening these cartoon lines based on the oranges, because they're just beautiful. I honestly think that this Mattel line is aesthetically way better, way more pleasing, and way more accurate to the Filmation toys than the Super 7. But I love that they did it, and I love that they're in the style of our original figures growing up. But I want the Origins too. So, yeah, Katie was like, surprise. So, we got the Filmation Origins Man-at-Arms. I mean, look at that. That's fucking awesome. And we got Tila, which I think this Tila is amazing. They did such a great job on that. Really cool. Very pleased with that. And then, of course, Skeletor. Yeah. Bumbling boob. He-Man. And one of my favorites, Trapjaw. Look at that. So, I gotta get these guys. These guys are next on the list. Amazing. I will be opening these up, and they will be displayed. Yeah, that is a line that I'm going to continue to get. I have yet to see them retail, and apparently Mattel said this is the next line that will be retail. Haven't seen them anywhere. This has all been online through Big Bad Toys, a place that both my wife and I frequent as far as pre-orders go. And then she said she pre-ordered me like moons ago, and it finally came in. The Super 7 Snarf. Phenomenal. This looks so good. I can't wait to open this up. Put them over here with the Thundercats, with the other Thundercats. So great. Look at that. I also don't care about this. I mean, this packaging, I don't fucking care. They're coming out. No, I toss this packaging. It's like, what a waste. But man, holla. That's right. These will be opening up. I have an issue with this room. This 80s room is not as big as the room I had in our old house. So it's been tough to try to fit everything into this room and still make it look pleasing. I love geek decorating, and I think I'm pretty good at it. And I like everything to look good being displayed. I don't like clutter. I don't like things that look like just shit and it's just piles and piles of stuff to where you can't even see one figure behind the other figure, and it's just like, ugh, it's very ugly. And I really, and this room in particular, I wanted to feel like a kid's bedroom in the 80s. The old house, we did the wood paneling walls and everything, and I'm gonna do that to this room as well. I miss it, and it really adds to the feel. It adds to my nostalgia of growing up and having a room like that, with the wood paneling and everything. But I know I can do better in this room, aesthetically and display-wise. I just need to get the right display. I need to get the right shelving, the right cases, to maximize everything as far as look. So we'll do that at some point. I got work to do in here, but that's it, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We have some videos planned coming up, themed videos. We're 40 years, 1984, crazy, a lot of great stuff in 1984. I got to continue that. We're going to do 1989 for the 35th anniversary. We're going to do some 30th anniversary stuff, lots of stuff coming up. And we'll get there. I thank you guys for continuing to support the channel and to keep, sticking around, regardless of how often I throw up a video. It's great that we are growing the channel, and even with, as little content as I do put out. But that's the thing, I don't do this for monetization. I don't do this as a job. This is, if the mood should strike, I'll shoot a video and throw it up there. It's always been about fun and joy and connecting and talking about the things that I love and whatnot. It's just fun. Puts a smile on the face. So that's it. Thanks again for watching. If you liked what you just saw and this was your first video and you want to go down and maybe check out other videos, lots of people will, as soon as the video starts, they're like and subscribe. Well, what if you don't fucking like the video? You're not going to like and subscribe. I want you to check everything out. I want you to marinate on things. If you like it, subscribe, give us a like, talk in the comments. If not, you can move along. You're not obligated to like a video, and certainly not before you watch it. That's absurd. So, thanks again, and we'll see you on another erotically charged episode of A Crypt from the 80s.